But if you want to restore yourself to the order of civilized society on racial equality with other races, stay here with us. If you want to break the grave ground of slavish mentality, of self-hatred and self-inferiority, don't go back to the black God's lesson. Keep following me. If you want intellectual and moral excellence, stay right here. If you want to become the moral and spiritual leaders of the world and get yourself in a position like that of Joseph, where all things can come unto you, stay here. You're in the right place. But remember, Joseph didn't get those things without some trial. Joseph was stolen and kidnapped, put in the ground in a well, and then sold to another people, to a strange people. Then put in jail in that strange land. But in jail, he proved his worth. And the government say, bring that man out of jail. We want to make him part of the leadership. You are almost at that point. I'm not talking about Mr. Andrew Young. I think that's his name. I'm talking about you who follow me. He just got him a Ralph Bush job. I'm talking about a real position of dignity and respect, equality and worth in the American leadership. You almost there if you follow me. But you know, some people that don't deserve the great blessing that God has prepared for them, when they get real close, they fail. And that's the justice of God. Because they've been pulled along. They weren't walking along. They were pulled along. Those that truly believe, they walk along. But those that's just there for selfish things, every time a test comes, they pull back on you. Did you hear what he said about Master Farrar? What do you think about that? Oh, weak chicken nigger. Excuse my language. Excuse my language. When I say nigger, I mean the dummy monster. Knowledge and false information created, along with physical pressure and oppression. It made a dummy monster that shouldn't be classified with men nor beasts. And that's what I mean when I say nigger. Old chicken nigger ain't got enough nerve to say, look, I don't accept his leadership. He's wrong. They won't come out like that. Did you ever look? I like what he said last month, man. Brother, did you hear what he said about Master Farrar? Who in the hell is Master Farrar? That's right, who is Master Farrar? If he's God, he better hurry up and show up. It's going to take him a long time now to get his throne back together. He won't have no place to sit. God has given me an army of termites, and I sent them right on his throne. And they just about to get away the last piece of the leg. And he ain't got no throne to sit on. Master Farrar. Well, I'm going to follow him as long as he don't talk against Master Farrar. If Master Farrar was wrong, I'm going to talk against him. For his right, he stands. For his wrong, he must fall. And I told you when you accepted me. I didn't fool you. I told you that you can't have no white gods or no foreign gods over you. And that included straight-haired, Caucasian-featured Master Farrar. Didn't do a lot of good. Certainly he did a lot of good. And there are a whole lot of Christians out there that'll tell you and prove it. Jesus has done a lot of good in their lives. But it still doesn't change the fact that Jesus is a Caucasian-looking God in their lives. And whatever Master Farrar has done of good in our lives, it still doesn't change the fact that he took one right image off of us and put another one on us. Now, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I know Master Farrar better than I know my own brothers and sisters. Because I have had enough more personal contact with him and more mixing into his mind than I've had with my own flesh and blood brothers and sisters. I know that if he was here right now, he would be sitting back there clapping and bearing me witness. Why? Because he knew he did a wrong thing. That's why he'll never show his face until I make it possible for him to come out in safety. But to do that, I have to tell the truth, no matter who it be, again. Master Farrar used us as explosives, as cannon fodder, to do the damage he wanted to do against Christian America. Now, when you use a people as explosives, you take as explosives, as cannon fodder to do the damage he wanted to do against Christian America. Now, when you use a people as explosive, you take the risk of destroying them. And look how many of the black gods that have gone and can't be brought back, that was fired out of the cannon of Yakub's teaching. They're gone and can never come back. They are destroyed. They are destroyed mentally. They are destroyed intellectually. They are destroyed as brothers and sisters. They can't even be brothers and sisters to each other. And the only one that has a possible chance of bringing those people out of their grave that's deeper than any Christian grave any of our people ever were put into is to come through me. Do you hear that? Don't you know that a man that'll tell you to eat one meal a day, tell you to make your little babies also eat one meal a day, tell you not to go to movies, don't listen to radio, don't buy nothing fine, don't store up your money. Now, if he had said, pool your money or store up your money and save this to get yourself in position to have some strength, it would have been great. He said, do this and just wait for the mothership. It's coming and take you away. Now, if that wasn't a Christian church, Sunday school message given to make you satisfied in what you were put into, tell me what is. Look here, you should be thankful that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had enough sense to see that Master Farad wanted to make us cannon fodder. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, I ain't gonna be no cannon fodder. I'll make somebody else cannon fodder, but I'm gonna pull the trigger myself. Elijah Muhammad saw what was happening. And he changed Master Farad's teaching. He made Master Farad God. Master Farad didn't make himself God alone. Master Farad hid it like he was God. What Master Farad suggested was that he was the chief or the supreme among men. And that all men that weren't Caucasian were God. That was his teaching. And he had designed it in such a way that no individual could take it over from him. Why? Because everybody was God. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad saw what was happening, and he made Farad Muhammad God alone and made himself the messenger of that God and put himself on the throne.
Greetings, salam alaikum. We're there with you again. I was going to say things in times, but everybody will bring to you this because as African Caribbean and children of the slaves, we have evolved and come a long, long way. There's so many obstacles that we've been through. There's so much that we had to learn and still are learning. We are the children of the slaves. And that is not embarrassing. It's factual. I'm trying to organize something here. So we want to let the world understand that we're not gatekeepers and we're not firemen. We've into the fold of Al-Islam sincerely. But we also had a very, very good, great teacher to remove the gospels from in and around us so that our spirit, which is our soul, can reach out to its creator and reconnect. You see, transformation is a serious thing. If a person or anyone but know or understand the term transformation or to be transformed, we're people who have no names. We're people who know not where we actually derive from. We know the continent of Africa, but which nation, which tribe are we? What was our language? Our languages. So we're still a strange people in the Western world. Grew up knowing Western phenomena. And our soul are not contented. But Al-Islam replenish our soul because it's the truth. And our journey from here on in is understanding the love of freedom. Understanding the love of freedom. Because the truth found us and we embrace that truth. It's called Al-Islam. It's not called Arabism, Pakistani-ism, or Asianism. Any ism is called Al-Islam. And those of us who have tasted or are tasting its fragrance will never, never submit to any other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're here now and we're prepared to die here in Al-Islam, not here in the West. Yes. So those of you who doubt us or still think that there's something wrong with Islam, Muslims, blah, blah, don't stay on the fence. Don't. Use your intellect. Use your tolerance. But be patient and examine Islam. Don't examine Muslims, examine Islam. Don't read the Quran with a critical eye based on criticisms and analysis from here, there, YouTube, and everywhere. Read it yourself. Question it yourself with the reading, not question it with someone else. Read it. It invites you to have a conversation. It invites you to reconnect or connect with the Almighty. So it's with the Almighty that you ask the question. Like, why did you take so long to find me? How long have you been here? Why am I not finding you? And all those answers, the answers to those questions would be answered by you just reading, whoever you are. And I swear, by Allah, you will cry. You will cry. Because it will respond to you, the Quran. And your soul will connect. And only you will know what is connected to. But it will connect. And that's what these Western people talk about, born in again. Why would you want to be born again? I mean, how is this, if you take it literally? They understand that errors in life would be made. So they try to teach themselves and others, don't worry about it. At some point, you can go and get baptized and born again. But then later on they tell you that, there was a death and there was a resurrection for the sins of man. So that throws that born again, it becomes a graduate. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says? Do good. Do good. Seek of His mercy. Seek of His grace. Seek of His blessings. To do that, do good. You understand? And Allah will teach us how to avoid that which is wrong. And we will all experience what good is. Not what it looks like, what it feels like. See, everyone looks seeking signs. And the signs are there. But because we're not in tune, we're missing the transmitters. We're seeking navigators. And the navigators are seeking navigators. So who is navigating whom? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the ultimate. Al-Islam. is for all mankind. So you see, I started with our brother in the masjid. And I've started with our imam who reformed us. Got rid of those gospels from our faculties. Remove mysticism from our faculties. Cleanse the toxicity from our being. And cleaned us up so we can crawl like a child. Then be able to stand like a child and understand balance. Once we understand balance, we can coordinate our surroundings. Is that not true? So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us, bless you, guide you, and guide us. And forgive us our faults. And strengthen us. So we can raise ourselves and raise our children. So we can have a sincere, balanced community. Or communities. Yes. Everyone wants a good life. But how do you get that? Is it material possessions? Is it a bankroll? No, you got to be feeling lovely within our bodies. We need to have an understanding of our souls, how to work our souls, how to respond to our souls, how to communicate with our inner self. Not levitate, communicate with our inner self. And then to appreciate life. To appreciate life, we exhume love and affection. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow. Oh, that's Sudan. Yeah, Sudan. MashaAllah. Nigeria. Yeah? No, it's not. It's Uganda. Yeah. Nigeria, no. Okay. These are masjid belonging to Africans. You understand? Yeah. Everybody, we're there with somebody. So we want to go to the 12 juz of the Quran, and our beloved brother would expand on this.
Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak. For today's reflection on the 12th juz of the Quran, I want to speak about a particular part in the 11th surah that's of unique significance for us as Muslims. It's the story of Nuh alayhi salam, the Prophet Noah, where we know this is probably one of the most popular stories in the Judeo-Christian and Islamic tradition. One of the more popular stories that the Prophet Noah, he was commissioned by Allah to warn his people. He worked amongst them for hundreds of years. 950 years is given in the Quran and in the Bible before. And his people, the bulk of them, were not accepting his message. After a while, in the course of his mission, Allah commanded him to build an ark. A flood was going to come and destroy the world at that time, wipe out all life. And he was commanded to take 2 of every creature and bring it into the ark, and the few that were believers with him. Now, what's unique about the Quranic narration is that in the Bible, he takes 2 of every creature and he brings his family in. In the Quran, it doesn't give it like that. He takes 2 of every creature, but he also brings in a remnant, a small group of believers. And what's unique about the Quran, furthermore, is that he actually has a son. And he calls his son, when the flood waters are coming, to join him in the ark. And his son says, he refuses his father's invite, And he says, I'm going to go to this mountain and it will defend me against the flood. And Noah told his son, nothing can defend you against the command of Allah this day. And as the language goes, a wave came between father and son. The son was drowned. After the waters began to recede, Noah cried, or he prayed to God, and he said to God that my son is from my family, and he was lamenting his death. And there's a very important ayah, part of an ayah at least, where Allah says, O Noah, he is not from your family. Innahu amalun ghayru salih. Surely he, in the way Allah describes him, he describes him as a type. He doesn't say that he's an unrighteous person. He says that he is action or works other than righteousness. Because the son is an unrighteous, or he is described as acts or behavior or works other than righteous, Allah says he is not your son. Or he really says he is not from your family. Laysa min ahlik. He is not from your people. He is not from your family. What is the lesson here? The lesson is extremely important. That in Islam, we have what's really considered to be a spiritual brotherhood. Allah, he says that the believers are an ikhwa. We are a brotherhood. So it doesn't matter if you are African American, if you're African, if you are European, if you are Asian, no matter where you are on this planet Earth, if you believe in La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, if you have the pillars, if you have the articles of faith, you believe in the Quran, we have the same Qibla, etc., this is what really makes us a spiritual brotherhood. And the spiritual life, unlike the material life is fading away. The material life is temporary. The spiritual life lasts. It's the lasting life. So that brotherhood, that connection, that brotherhood and sisterhood, that family, it is the more important family. It is the more important brotherhood. This is not to say that our blood ties and our blood relatives are not to have our respect. This is not to say that they are not to have our love and devotion. But this is to say that there is a distinction to be made. Islam is against tribalism, ethnic pride, to the degree that we would rather stick with someone of our own race or our own ethnicity or our own nation, even if they are disbelievers. And this was a problem that was faced, or Allah at least addresses it, among the followers of the Prophet. We are being elevated in our consciousness to really see that the spiritual life is the higher life, is the true life. And this is one of the lessons to be derived from this particular reading. So we, in this month of Ramadan, all around the world, we are fasting. All around the world, we are reading the Quran. All around the world, we have millions and millions, 2 billion plus Muslims seeking to get closer to Allah. We are all members of one huge spiritual family, and that's the beauty of this religion. I don't think there's any other religion. They still say that Christians outnumber us, but the Christians are not unified like we are unified. The Protestants are different from the Catholics. The Catholics are different from the Eastern Orthodox Church. They have their different ways about them, and they've just split up. They may all celebrate Christmas or Easter, but I think even some of the Easter observances and the Easter days actually differ. But here we are as Muslims, 2 billion plus, our Ramadan is the same. We may be a day or so off just because the sighting of the moon in our local areas, the Hilal. But in terms of the overarching structure of us as a spiritual brotherhood, it remains the same. And this sign, in this reality really, the sign of this reality is seen most excellently in the Hajj. The Hajj, where we all come to that house, and on the day of Arafah, where we all come before the Lord of all the worlds in our ihram, the men, we all come before him seeking, pleading as servants equal before him. So this is the beauty of Islam. We are spiritual brothers. We are a spiritual brotherhood. And our brotherhood is based upon righteousness, is based upon belief, is based upon good works in this world. Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak.
Salam alaikum. Yes, so we will not desist from reflecting on who we are as a people in this life, in this earth. Because human beings are beautiful people, but we can be terrible. That's the problem. We're beautiful people, but can be terrible. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us and guide us. So we're watching Sudan right now. These are sisters. You know, serious things. We're watching Mali, Timbuktu. This is our masjid and university. And we're watching, seeing Sudan. Yes. Uganda, mashallah. So we're getting ready to leave. Nigeria. So we want to
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
والتين والزيتون وطور سينين وهذا البلد الأمين لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم أجر غير ممنون فما يكذبك بعد بالدين أليس الله بأحكم الحاكمين.
Yes. Al-Islam. Al-Islam.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والتين والزيتون وطور سينين وهذا البلد الأمين لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم أجر غير ممنون فما يكذبك بعد بالدين أليس الله بأحكم الحاكمين.
Yes, so we want to leave you now, and we'll leave with our young brother Abdullah. So we pray for our families, the population of Palestine. Yes.
I'm exhausted. Last night I couldn't sleep, but when I did I could hear bombs in my dreams. Nightmare situation. How could they be so evil, making martyrs out of children and innocent people? We expect the bombs, not knowing where next. Huddle in the corner of my room, trying to protect my little brother as the building shakes like it's possessed, but nothing stronger than the will of the oppressed. I bomb back with my lyrics and rhymes, living the times trying to break the Palestinian minds. What's hiding in the clouds hanging over my head? My dad risks his life outside to buy bread. The fourth war in my 12th year. At this stage I'm numb, though I haven't felt scared. There's nothing I can do in this case to stay safe. I'm brave, even though this house could be my grave. I want freedom for the population. 2 million prisoners living in this location, shouting at the wall, but nothing is ever changing. That's life under an occupation. I want freedom for the population. 2 million prisoners living in this location, shouting at the wall, but nothing is ever changing. That's life under an occupation. Mothers mourn, fighting with grief. White sheets covered by his dad lie on the streets. Buildings turn to ash, but my mind is made of steel. So it doesn't take much for me to heal. Won't lose the will to live or lose our minds. My auntie lost her home, so she lost her life, but she...
Yeah, I hope people listens to the words, you know. Seriously. Just listen to the words. There are some people who will just condemn the sound and never hear one syllable. But if Yusuf Islam was on stage with his guitar and a couple other persons playing the drum, nobody not say nothing. Why? Is it because Yusuf is a Caucasian? Yo, you messianic-minded people, leave the Habashi alone. Trust me. Just, yo, seriously. It's about time when I wake up.
I'm exhausted. Last night I couldn't sleep, but when I did I could hear bombs in my dreams. Nightmare situation, how could they be so evil, making martyrs out of children and innocent people? We expect the bombs, not knowing where next. Huddle in the corner of my room, trying to protect my little brother as the building shakes like it's possessed. But nothing stronger than the will of the oppressed. I bomb back with my lyrics and rhymes, living the times trying to break the Palestinian minds. What's hiding in the clouds hanging over my head? My dad risks his life outside to buy bread. The fourth war in my 12th year. At this stage I'm numb, though I haven't felt scared. There's nothing I can do in this case to stay safe. I'm brave, even though this house could be my grave. I want freedom for the population. 2 million prisoners living in this location, shouting at the wall, but nothing is ever changing. That's life under an occupation. I want freedom for the population. 2 million prisoners living in this location, shouting at the wall, but nothing is ever changing. That's life under an occupation. Mothers mourn, fighting with grief. White sheets covered by his dad lie on the streets. Buildings turn to ash, but my mind is made of steel. So it doesn't take much for me to heal. Won't lose the will to live or lose our minds. My auntie lost her home, so she lost her life, but she is still alive, but traumatized by the bombs that flew in and dropped that night. My sister couldn't sleep, tried to stop her cries. I said it was fireworks, I was telling her lies. Where's the compassion? This is heartless. It's like they want us all living in darkness, cutting off water and electricity for hours. They're knocking towers, but that's not knocking the power that I have in my pen. When I'm writing, I'm unstoppable. The microphone is the only escape possible, cause that's the way that I can speak my mind. I wonder how does the fighter pilot sleep at night, knowing he can turn the city upside down all of a sudden, slaughtering families with the push of a button. I want freedom for the population. 2 million prisoners living in this location, shouting at the wall, but nothing is ever changing. That's life under an occupation. I want freedom for the population. 2 million prisoners living in this location, shouting at the wall, but nothing is ever changing. That's life under an occupation.
Yes, my young brother. So those people, news flash, the conditions, the circumstances in Palestine remain the same. And we're in the month of Ramadan. There are people of the United Nations are still trying something, But America is tricking everybody. And they're dividing, intending to divide Palestine, Gaza. And the first phase is the delivery port that America says, or the American says, that they're going to erect. They use the word temporary, knowing that that's not what will actually happen. This is a pre-phase of the original intention. And whilst this is happening, the division of the Palestinian land in Gaza is actually taking place. Using the word strengthening security. For after the events that's taking place now. So there's a two-prong, really three-prong situation. What we're watching, the destruction, the building and seizing of land, causing a division between Gaza, and erecting a port, limiting the Palestinian land. Oh, it's four, because the settlers from America, these ones are evil. They're building and they're confiscating so many properties. This is exactly what is happening right now. Not started yesterday or the day before yesterday. It's what's happening. I'm trying to seek permission with not even YouTube, but the source to play. Because you know this tool called Google. So we have an overhead projection of what is actually happening on the ground. We're looking down from the sky on what is actually happening, what you can actually see that is actually happened and are happening. They're playing games, Hollywood theatrics with the public. And many of the media platforms know exactly what they're doing, and they're doing exactly what they're told to do. Could you imagine how many trucks are there with food, provisions for those people, and they've been refused to empty or to take their resources in. The United Nations, they do so much atrocious damn things in Africa, but yet still they UNICEF and all of these different departments are behaving like somehow their hands and feet are tied. Their hands and feet are tied. But with Africa, they're in a second, in a haste, and they have all these soldiers and everyone, with arms and their tanks and all kinds of armory. What is special about these people? I'm telling you, The words are changing. Have your fun at this moment in time. Serious thing. So we're going. We're going. Abdullah, come here. Hurry up, boy. Come here. Assalamu alaikum.
Palestine's been occupied for decades, but a home for centuries. This land is generations of my family's memories. To plant, grow, and nurture the symbol of peace. The olive trees guaranteed that our people could eat. Living with limitations, pushed down by the occupation. Wanna see the pain? Take a look at the people's faces. Imagine being kicked out of the only house you ever known. We're praying for our souls while they're preying on our homes. It's not easy to put this into words. Looking at my baby sister, is this something she deserves? Going up at a...
You know anyone who disbelieve us and any other people on Al Jazeera channels and so on? Then go back to Desert Storm 1 and 2 and look at Iraq and listen to the U.S. Army, Colin Powell and others, Schwarzenegger and so forth. And they chose particular bombs to drop on Iraq. Particular bombs. They bomb bridges, strategic areas. But they did not flatten Iraq. I better qualify that because in the second time when they came back, for some reason, they were more hostile than the first time. There were particular quarters that they destroyed. But they dropped these bombs that they call cluster bombs and so forth. And they were explaining their military technologies and everything, and so forth and so forth. But these people here, their main intention was to flatten, obliterate Gaza. Can't you all see that? It's not no war with Hamas. They're using the word Hamas and the fact that they tie the word terrorist on Hamas, who is the legitimate instituted government of Palestine. It is this divide and rule stuff. They're following the experience they got from Britain and America. If you want to make someone an enemy or you want to make them despicable, you call them terrorists. That's today. Before they were called them anarchists. And tyrants and regimes. And then add a few more words along the way. And when people hear that, they think like, wow. And the whole world got to hear that Iraq was a regime and this and they always, and people, you ask them, where is this country? Do you know Iraq? Do you know where it is? Same thing with Afghanistan. No clue. And that's the first world most powerfulest nation, they're saying. And the general population, they never a clue. But what they're good at is in short notice educating their people with propaganda, because they call me a terrorist, and every day, every morning, twice, 3 times a day, my name is mentioned, pictures are showing, despicable things are said, and then it goes on throughout the whole day on every talk show, every news broadcast, and the popular newspapers. And then before you know it, 100 and somebody million people now, they all calling my name. And they won't call me Yeshua because I'm supposed to be the devil. I'm supposed to be this terrorist. I'm supposed to be this despicable human being. And then they announce to their people that they're going to go to the country which they say they think that I'm from, and they're going to deal with those people there because they're all bad. And none of their population turns around and goes, I thought you was only after that one person. Why are you sending our troops to this country? And the good citizens of America have never asked the people, them, really, can you all convince us about concerning 9/11? Because your reaction doesn't make us understand anything. You had a two-pronged evil of axis, a long list, but two was your main target. And one big word was used in one of the mentioned names. Afghanistan, Iraq, and Al-Qaeda. Another terrorist body. Now look at us here now. Reenacting one of your students. And this is Hamas. And not one of you good people, even in the United Nations, is saying, listen, their legitimate government is Hamas. And if you have a right to defend yourself, don't they have a right to defend their people too? But two wrongs don't make a right here. I'm not advocating for one against the other. I'm advocating against one. And the treatment that's been dished out. And the so-called top nations, first world nations that want to tell everybody else when and how to go and when to go to use the bathroom and when to yawn and how long to sleep. They haven't showed any form of humility. Any form of humility. And now are extracting millions out of Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Dubai, Bahrain, everywhere. They use death and alleged wars to extract and extort money, resources that they want. It's sad. That's why I'm saying worlds are changing. Can't do nothing about this. Your evil has gone too far. Read your books, O you people of the Bible, and see what happened to Pharaoh. See the pledges that Pharaoh put, that Musa alayhi salam put to Pharaoh. See how hard his head was. And see how much leniency that God gave him, Pharaoh. But the only reason why your book is confused is that in your book, God is saying to Moses to help Pharaoh to understand these things. But at the same time, God is saying, when you tell him these things, I will harden his heart so he doesn't obey you. Now, is that God you're talking about? Or that's how you all perceive to do things? That's how you do things. Read the book. Anyone who wants to say that I'm wrong, read it yourself. And you'll see that it's saying that something is saying to Moses, tell him this and that. Make sure you convey my message. Each time I'm asking you to have counsel with him. And then I was tighten his heart. So he refrains from not adhering to that which. So what's the message really in the Bible? It wasn't like God wanted Pharaoh to change. He just wanted Moses to convey that you're evil and stop doing what you're doing. So why say stop doing what you're doing? And then the message being delivered, but then you harden my heart, so I do not obey you. Because to obey what Musa is saying is to obey you, because you're the one who's telling Moses to tell Pharaoh something. And once the message was delivered and your name was received, you said, the Bible here is saying that I will harden his heart so he does not adhere to that which you have conveyed to him. What nonsense is that? And you're saying that God did that. And that's what you all do. You tell us, you say one thing and do another. And then you say another thing, and then you say, give me this pledge, and such will happen in due course of time. And we will remove XZ from there and install you here. And then you ask them, do you understand what I've just said? But then you say, sign it. You come up with these deals. Do you know, my parents were alive when, throughout this pleading for a two-state solution, of people who came and captured the people's land, maneuvered the people, invaded the people, apartheid the people, and they've been always asking, and you've been saying, yeah, you had all these meetings and people going backwards and forward, and the Palestinian representative changed their clothes. They start wearing shirts with collar. Then they start wearing tie. Then they start wearing jacket. Then they start wearing full suits. Then they start wearing Italian rare shoes. And even the sisters, they took off their hijab. You transform those people and belittle those people. For years, you humiliated them. And they shook your hand here and shook your hands there. Go to Egypt here and go to America here and keep going. And you played them like the Africans, like us. We had to accommodate your examinations and pass them for you to give us the freedom to take care of ourselves on our own land. And we had to plead with you for what you call independence. Gosh, man, you're terrible. You're wicked. Evil people. Now, the land that you are occupying, it was not your land. You fled from your land among your people because you said you were being persecuted. Then you went there and butchered everything that you found. You call yourselves Quakers, Puritans, Amishes, etc., etc. And you became the most vilified people on the earth. And you ran from persecution. Could you imagine? That's you, Americans. Now you got these African Americans is so in love with you. Gosh, man. Unbelievable. Assalamu alaikum. Unbelievable.